Hello everyone, Sat Shri Akal, Adab and welcome back to my channel Inspo Vibes with SK. Thank you so much for all your likes, your comments, your shares, and I'm so happy to see that somewhere some lives are getting positively impacted. So I had planned for a different story this week, but something happened last night and I just had to change, and I just had to speak about what I'm going to speak today. So let's start with a flashback. When I was in 3rd standard, that was the first time I heard this word death and saw it up close when my paternal grandmother, my dadima, she died. And my mother said, guys, we need to go to the village. And we used to go to our village once a year in the summer holidays. So we were wondering, how come it's not summer holidays? School is still on. Why are we going? So we asked, Mom, why are we going now to the village? Holidays haven't started. So she said, your dadima has died. That was the first time I heard this death. And we looked at her like, what? What has happened to her? So she said, your grandmother has gone to God and she's now become a star. So when we go to the village now, you won't be able to see her. If you want to see her and talk to her, you just look into the sky and one of the stars shining there would be your grandmother. Little kids that we were, we bought that story. Only thing that mattered to us was now onwards we are never going to see grandmother in the village in flesh and blood. Fine, life moved on. About 4 years later, I was in, I think, about 7th standard then, about 12 years of age. One night we were deep in sleep and middle of the night we hear a loud thud, as if something really heavy had fallen. We were on the first floor of a 10-story building, so we heard it much sharper and clearer than others on higher floors. And then following that thud, we started to hear the groans and the crying out in pain of a woman. I think my mother also woke up with that. She looked out of the window and shouted to the watchman to inquire what happened. That was the first time I heard the word suicide. He said, Madam, वो 4 माले वाली मैडम ने कूद के suicide कर लिया. And again we were confused, so we also woke up because that auntie was screaming in pain and she continued to scream in pain till the ambulance arrived and took her away. So we asked Mom, Mama, what is this? What is this suicide? What did auntie do? Why was she screaming in pain? So Mom said, she is also going to become a star. But the difference from your grandmother is, your grandmother naturally died because of old age. This auntie took her own life. She jumped from her home, fell down, and so she's dead. Okay, so for a 12-year-old, I think it was too much to process that, oh, there are 2 ways people can die. God can take you or you can choose to take your own life. Well, even today, there are nights when I hear her screams in pain. And one thing I cannot forget is her daughter, who was my friend in my class. That poor girl was so dazed and so lost as to what has happened and what to do. And for the rest of her life, she was marked with this daughter of a suicide case. I don't think auntie would have given that aspect a thought before she jumped. I'm very sure auntie had her valid reasons for taking her own life, for ending her life. But I just wish so many times that with all those reasons on one side, she had thought about this little girl, this friend of mine, and what impact her suicide will have on this girl's life. Anyway, life moved on. I also moved on. This memory went somewhere into the background. Way back in 2004, I was married, had a family, 2 beautiful children, and I was teaching in college. And there was this young boy, so full of life, you could say. When you look at him, the only word that came to your mind was life. He was so lively, so enthusiastic, so passionate. His eyes were always dancing. Probably that's why I liked him a shade more than the others, simply because of his vivacity and liveliness. But one week I found him to be very off color, a little quiet, a little distracted. I did try and talk to him a couple of times to check if all was well. He just wouldn't share. He kept telling me, yeah, ma'am, all is well. Don't worry, if there's something, you will be the first person I would tell. So I said, fine. Still, my heart was restless. So I asked one of his close friends to go and have a conversation with him. She said, yes, ma'am, I will go tomorrow. I have a few commitments at home today. I said, fine. And next morning, after college, after classes, I called that girl and I told her, where is he? He's not come to class today. Did you go and talk to him? Did you get a chance to ask him what's bothering him? And she started crying. Then a couple of others who were close to him and had got the news also got very serious. And I was like now very agitated. What happened? What am I missing? Then slowly she gathered the courage to say, you know, ma'am, you were right. Something was indeed bothering him. And last night, he just hung himself from the ceiling fan and ended his life. In an instant that night when I was in 7th standard and that auntie had jumped and suicide screams, my friend's face, everything came flooding back. And here was once again this horrible, ugly, painful word called suicide that was staring me in the face. I just couldn't believe somebody so full of life, somebody so in love with life could just throw it away, could just end it. What could be so big that it was larger than life itself? It was beyond me. Well, since then, I have been trying to understand what it is about these people who take their lives, what makes them, cross the line to the other side. Some more years went by, didn't find an answer. In 2007, a colleague of mine from my past workplace, I heard from a common friend. He was married, had a small child. I don't know what got into him. One day he took a pistol, shot himself in the end, and there it was. One healthy, happily married family man, and in an instant, gone. He's no more. Again, I started experiencing these questions. How? Why? What? Answers were still eluding me. I just could not understand what makes these people go over the edge and try and give up this most beautiful gift and blessing of nature, this thing called life. Last night, as I was sitting down for dinner, I got a call from my transport manager. There was this young boy who was working with us and extremely competent. I think it was his first job and he was just about 2 years into the job. Very hardworking, very competent, so full of ambition, full of passion, always wanting to do more, always wanting to learn. Whenever I would go down, he would hover around me, talk to me, show what he was doing new. Anything that I told him for improvement, he would lap it up and then come back and tell me that I did work on it and this is what I did. And here was this guy telling me last night, he ended his own life. One more suicide? I mean, hearing about celebrities taking their life is one thing, because their lives are not connected to ours. But time and time again, learning about people who were somewhere, connected to me, who had touched my life, hearing about them suddenly not being there and ending their own life, it moved me so much that I thought, today I need to speak to all my viewers and all my listeners about this. Life is the most beautiful gift that each one of us has been given. In Sikhism, they say that after 84 lakh births in various life forms, you get the birth as a human being. That's how valuable this gift is. Then how can one just throw it away? So, what I have understood and what I think could be happening is, people run into rough weather, people run into problems, people come across challenges, and those challenges appear larger than life. It overwhelms them to such an extent that they, instead of choosing to fight, they choose the flight and just take the exit door. So I would like to appeal to everyone with folded hands is, my friends, do not make any challenge, any problem, any issue in your life to be larger than your life per se. All problems, all issues come with a solution. Remember, you are always given a problem as per the ability of handling it. God will never throw a burden on your shoulders that you cannot carry. Every problem has a solution. We just have to find it. Sometimes we cannot find it alone. We can talk. We can look around, reach out to friends, talk to others, see what else can be done. But simply choosing the exit door and walking out and closing the door on life is not the solution, my friends. Think of those you will leave behind. You will walk out of the exit and end your life. What about your parents, your siblings, your relatives, your friends who will be left behind to deal with the reality of your suicide every single day? It's not their fault that you got into a challenge. Many people would say, I live for somebody, I'm alive because of somebody. Therefore, when that somebody or something is not there, what's the purpose? I would say, you and you alone are the purpose of your life. You are the reason that you are alive. You are the reason which is good enough to be alive. Any problem is as big as we make it out in our minds. If you cannot find a solution today, sleep over it. If you cannot figure out a solution even tomorrow, talk to someone, reach out to someone, do share. Okay, simply by sharing your problems does not make you a weak person. Simply by crying out for help does not make you a weak person. And for all the others around a suicide victim, I would say be emotionally available. We are generally physically available. We are generally financially available. We are available to give advice and gyan, but let us be emotionally available to the people who are part of our lives. Let us listen to them without judgment. Let us listen to their sharing without giving advice and gyan. Let us just be there for them. I think if all of us could be there with that one person who was bordering on suicide or life, and somewhere we can impact them that they pull back and choose life over suicide, we have served the mission of our life. So no matter how rough the weather is, no matter how difficult things get, no matter how sticky a spot you might be in, nothing is larger than life. Nothing is worth than life itself. Love yourself, love your life, live for yourself. You are the reason for your life. You are the only thing because of which, for which you will be alive. And till you are there, problems will come, but they will always have a solution. We just need to find it. Sometimes we are in a hurry and we give up a little too soon. So in those times is what I'm saying, that the others around have a duty to be emotionally available. So my prayers to that young boy, I shudder to think what would be happening to his parents, to his siblings, to everybody around him. God be with them and give them the strength to live with this fact till their dying day. But once again, I would like to appeal to everyone, choosing the exit door, choosing to quit this horrible dark word suicide is not a solution. Please don't even think about it. Please share, reach out and talk. Okay? With that, I end my story today, and do keep listening, do keep spreading the vibes of inspiration, do keep sharing this video if you think it will help someone. Till we meet again next Wednesday with yet another story. You take care, be safe, love yourself, love life, and value this most important gift of God, that is life. Take care. God bless you. Bye bye.